Hi, everybody. Welcome to DataCite Open Hours. Thank you for joining today. And this is your community meeting. So please take a moment to review these housekeeping tips. So you can introduce yourself in the chat and say hi to everyone. Feel free to ask questions. You can write questions in the chat, or you can actually unmute as well if you'd like to ask questions directly to the speakers. Raise your hand in the chat if you'd like to, or in the bar along the bottom if you'd like to ask a question, and we will share the slides and the recording afterwards. So just a quick note on some upcoming events that we've got. On the 28th of January, we will be hosting another DataCite Harvesters Interest Group meeting. So if you are interested in harvesting metadata, or you are harvesting metadata, then you are very welcome to join that meeting. It's open to everyone. And then we've already programmed our open hours meetings for next year. They happen every quarter, and we'd love it if you could join all of them or some of them. The links to sign up are already available, and I think Paul's going to share those in the chat now. So if you're really keen and excited about open hours, you can already sign up. So today we're going to start off with a couple of presentations from new DataCite members. Firstly, we'll hear from Julia Sprenger at the OECD Nuclear Energy Agency, followed by Pablo Davo Cabra from the World Confederation for Physical Therapy. And then we'll hear from our colleagues, a little review of 2025 and looking ahead to 2026. So that will be led by Maria Gould, who is DataCite's Director of Strategic Programs and Partnerships, along with Kelly Stathis, DataCite's Product Manager, and Cody, who's also one of DataCite's Product Managers. So I'm going to hand over now directly to Julia, if you're there.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Great,
I will
thanks.
share my slides. Let's see if that works. So do you see something that, oh, the full screen is a bit off, I think. Something that resembles full screen slides?
Looks good, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so hi from my side. I'm Julia Sprenger. I'm working at the OECD-NEA. NEA is the Nuclear Energy Agency. And I'm working here in Paris as a data engineer at a section of the NEA, which is called Data Bank. So let me start and give you a bit of introduction. What is the Nuclear Energy Agency and what are we doing and what's our history? So the Nuclear Energy Agency was founded as a forum for cooperation for the most advanced countries in the world to cooperate on, well, nuclear topics related to energy. So it has quite a long history. It was founded in 1958 and is based on contributions from member countries. And now today it has 34 member countries. The two main missions of the agency are to assist its member countries in maintaining and further developing through international cooperation the scientific, technological, and legal basis required for safe, environmentally sound, and economical use of nuclear energy for peaceful purposes. So there's already quite a number of topics we have to cover in that. And the second mission is to provide authoritative assessment and to forge common understandings on key issues as input to government decisions on nuclear energy policy and to broader OECD policy analysis in areas such as energy and sustainable development of low carbon economies. So this is basically covering almost all aspects you can think of when you think about nuclear energy or use of nuclear, almost all. So how is the NEA organized? It has a quite efficient organization, as it is governed by 8 technical committees which are overseeing our work and 1 management board, and the actual work is performed within working parties and international joint projects which gather experts on diverse nuclear topics from all across the world. As to how we use DataCite, well, we use DataCite to mint DOIs, first of all, for our publications and reports. So those are PDF documents. And since we are only a recent member of DataCite, but have a long history, we have quite a number of documents and are still in the process of retroactively assigning DOIs to those. So just to give you an overview of the different topics that the Nuclear Energy Agency is working at, I will just try to leave this and follow the link here, so you get a view of the website. Doesn't work. Well, okay. In any case, there is also a screenshot of the website on the right side, giving an overview of the major topics the agency is working on. And well, you have the number of publications we are dealing with is like just below 5,000. And I actually don't have the numbers, how many of them already have DOIs assigned, since this is from our publications team, a manual process. It will take some time. I also will share the slides later, so you can have a look if you want to see an example. I also added a link to an example publication here. However, the main part of work where I am involved in is the creation of data libraries. So dealing with nuclear data, collecting nuclear data in international collaborations, organizing them, standardizing them, and well, sharing them. And of course, also for data libraries, we want to have digital object identifiers. We are hosting our data libraries on our own Invenio instance, and this is linked to DataCite. So since it's pretty recent, also it has been launched last summer, there's only a few records available on our Invenio yet, but the numbers are expected to grow very quickly in the next month. And well, we had a major milestone releasing one of our large libraries last summer directly with the start of our Invenio instance. And if you want to find that, you can follow the link here, data.OECD-NEA.org. And with this, I think this is all of the overview I wanted to give to the community, and I would be happy to have questions.
Thank you, Julia, for that very interesting, insightful presentation about how your organization is implementing DOIs. And if anyone has a question for Julia, please, you can raise your hand and ask that now, or also put it in the chat. So I'm not seeing anything at the moment. So we'll move on to our next presentation from Pablo Davo Cabra from the World Confederation for Physical Therapy. Pablo.
Hello.
Hi. Go ahead.
Okay, so let's. Okay, you should be able to see my screen now. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So thank you everyone for attending this meeting. I'm Pablo Davo. I'm part of the World Physiotherapy staff team. I'm part of the MED team, which is Membership Education Development team. And I'm just going to try to give a brief presentation of the work we do at World Physiotherapy, and also to try to respond to how we engage with DataCite in relation to DOI. So what we do, who we are, what we do, and our engagement. So World Physiotherapy, it's the global voice for the physiotherapy profession that represents over 600,000 physiotherapists globally through its 129 member organizations. It was founded back in 1951, and since only by 11 organizations, and we've grown since that. So our vision is that everyone has universal access to quality physiotherapy services when and where needed. And also our purpose is to represent the physiotherapy profession across the globe, just advancing our profession and ensuring that advocating for everyone to have access to that physiotherapy services and to improve the health and well-being. So once that, as you can see, this is how we've grown over the years. Just to give you a little, when I arrived into this organization 7 years ago, we were only, back in 2018, we were only 113 member organizations. We are now 129, so we've grown. And at that time, we only represented 400,000 physiotherapists, while we are over 600,000 now. As said, we have now grown into a diverse and complex scenario of member organizations, because we've going from our membership perspective, we've gone through, we can move from a very small, as you can see here, this is some data from our annual membership census, which is a project we delivered on yearly basis, and we have a snapshot of the physiotherapy profession globally. As you can see, we have from our very small member organizations, like, for example, Zimbabwe or Haiti, where we've got 7 and 6 physiotherapists in that organizations, to the biggest ones in Japan and France that are over 100,000 physiotherapists. And we try to accommodate to their needs, to support them, and to help them to advance the physiotherapy profession. Well, physiotherapy, it has 5 regions, which said Africa, Asia, Western Pacific, Europe, North America, Caribbean, and South America. So we operate providing support at the national, regional, and global level. We also have 14 specialty groups that are not part of, they work independently, but they need to be recognized by World Physiotherapy, by a number of MOs or member organizations and a number of regions, and they need to be reconfirmed every 4 years in our region, in our General Assembly. So as you can see, they cover the whole range of the profession in the different specialties. There is a number of member fellowships. I'm not going to go through this, but I would just, as an overview of all of them, is that to be able to engage at the international level, this needs to be done through our member organizations, and this needs to be member of World Physiotherapy. In relation to our international relationships, we are World Physiotherapy was created, as said, back in 1951. And since 1956, we are a non-state actor in official relationships with WHO. That means that we have the higher level of engagement with WHO, and we collaborate with them in a range of projects to advance the rehabilitation services across the globe. And we are also part of a number of alliances, professional, like, for example, the World Health Professional Alliance or the World Rehabilitation Alliance, also hosted by WHO. And there's a number of important international NGOs operating in the rehabilitation sector. That could be Humanity Inclusion or the International Committee of the Red Cross, in which with whom we have a number of projects that we partnered with them. Also, we do another branch of the work we undertake. It's the advocacy. We provide a set advocacy at national, regional, and global level, helping our member organizations to support and to advance the physiotherapy profession. Especially one of our key aspects here is fostering the direct access to physiotherapy services in different countries through fostering regulations, fostering a change and rising awareness campaigns and things like that. So then we get into events, which is another important branch of the work we do. And this has its main event in the World Physiotherapy Congress that takes place every other year. We had our last World Physiotherapy Congress earlier this year in May and June in Tokyo, Japan, with more than 5,000 delegates, and we had over 2,000 abstracts submitted that we have DOIs for all of them. And also we have an archive of the abstracts from previous congresses that can be accessible and have the DOIs as well. We also have our next World Physiotherapy Congress in Guadalajara, Mexico in 2027. And in the meantime, we have a number of regional events that will take place next year in Kigali, Rwanda for the Africa region, Madrid, Spain for the European, Punta del Este, Uruguay for the South America, New Delhi, India for Asia, Western Pacific, and Georgetown, Guyana for the North America, Caribbean region. These are smaller events that vary depending on the region, but they also have a similar structure in terms of the abstracts, in terms of the quality assurance, and we are also considering these regional events and the abstracts to have these DOIs in this similar way that we have for our World Physiotherapy Congress, in which we have DOIs for all the presentations and abstracts. We are considering, however, there are still some, we are addressing some quality assurance issues for those events. So then moving into a different branch work, we also deliver some capacity building projects that are designed to help those countries in which physiotherapy profession is not well developed, or sometimes there is no physiotherapy professional in those countries, and we deliver some capacity building projects to create entry-level education programs, to train the workforce, to raise awareness of the need of the physiotherapy profession in those countries, and we have delivered capacity building projects in places like Vietnam, like Tajikistan, like a number of countries in the French-speaking countries in the Africa region, and we are currently working to develop some projects in Central and South America. Just least but not last, education, which is one of our main areas of work as well. And as you can see here, it's quite transversal to other areas of work that we have through direct education offerings, through quality assurance, rising the standards, and also all of these directed by our policy and advocacy efforts. We have, as said, Congress webinars at the regional level, for example, or regional summits that we've had, and the possibility of having this month as well. In terms of quality assurance, we have an accreditation service for entry-level education programs, and we have a CPD recognition service, so continual professional development recognition service. And just to briefly mention, in terms of the education, as said, it's about rising the standards of the physiotherapy profession and marking the framework of how this needs to be delivered. We have our physiotherapist education framework and a number of publications that also can have these DOIs, as well as the gold standards that are followed by physiotherapists around the world in different and in how to deliver education activities. And as I said, these are informed by our policies and in different topics of the profession. And I think that's all from my side. Happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Great stuff. Thank you, Pablo. Any questions? Julia has asked a question in the chat for presenters, Julia and Pablo. Could you share a bit more about your motivations for joining DataCite, what you hope to get out of membership in the DataCite community, and any advice you might have for other organizations considering joining DataCite? Pablo, did you want to go first?
Just I mean, the DOIs are our main reason to join DataCites, and we are trying to develop our research field, and in terms of strategically, we felt that there were not enough research that was published from our site, and we do a lot of research that is not publicly, although it could be publicly available, it didn't have his DOI. So we are also working a project that is still not public, but it's about the research priorities to have a list of topics that are interesting for the physiotherapy profession and people who are aligned in the different fields of research fields of the physiotherapy profession. And of course, we understand that DataCite could be an interesting partner to work in these projects as well.
Thank you. Julia, did you want to comment on that?
Yes. So, I mean, for us as an organization to kind of work in the center of a whole field and being a core part of a lot of tools which are used in the fields and data libraries, it's mandatory to have persistent identifiers to distribute our data libraries, and this is why we contacted you, and we were looking for different DOI providers, and we found that DataCite is just the best fit for our data library distributions, and this is how we arrived here.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much both for your interesting presentations. And I'm going to hand over to Maria Gould now, who is going to lead the next part of this open hours. Thanks again.
Yeah, hello everyone, and just reiterating Mary's thanks to both Julia and Pablo for your presentations and sharing with everyone here about what's bringing you to DataCite and what's bringing you to this community. I'm here to pop in very, very briefly before handing off to my colleagues, just to greet everyone and just say a few words about the types of work that we've been involved in at DataCite this year and going forward. So as many of you will be aware, DataCite is a community. We're a membership organization. We work with research organizations all around the world who are interested in joining DataCite as members and in using DataCite tools and services and infrastructure to make their research outputs and activities more open, more findable, more discoverable, usable, citable, and impactful. And we're a small team at DataCite. There are a few of us here on the Zoom today that you're going to hear more from in a moment. I'm personally responsible and working with our newly formed Global Community and Services team, which encompasses all of our work on membership and community engagement, as well as product development and service development and service support with our different tools and services and pieces of infrastructure, and supporting the engineering team and making sure that all of those services are functional. So what's really important about that I wanted to emphasize is that we really think about all of the service development and services that we offer as being really driven by community needs and community use cases. And so we love hearing from all of our users and community stakeholders about features that they want to see or issues that they're having so that we can take that into account as we continue to make these services more useful. And we bring together this community-centered approach to everything that we do. And that's really, one of the core reasons why we love bringing people together here at Open Hours to hear from different cross sections of the community and also talk about some of the work that is underway on all of the different layers of our operations. So on that note, I'm going to hand off to my colleague Kelly to share a bit more about some of the work that we've been up to this year with all of you and others not on this call. And then we'll pass off to Cody to talk a little bit more about the road that lies ahead in 2026.
Great, thank you so much, Maria. So yeah, for the last open hours of 2025, we wanted to take some time to reflect on what DataCite and our community have accomplished this past year, as well as to look ahead to what is coming in early 2026. So I'll start with the review piece of this. So as Maria articulated so well, DataCite is a global community, and we are continuing to expand around the world and to support the organizations who engage with us. And so this year we've seen sustained growth of our community. We currently have over 1,700 organizations from 66 countries with substantial increases in 2025. And we also passed the 100 million DOI threshold this year, with over 35 million of those DOIs registered within this calendar year. Across all DataCite DOIs, we also saw over 712 million resolutions in 2025. So it's important to us that there are easy pathways for organizations to be part of what we're doing. And I think this shows in our membership growth from this year. So across our member categories, we welcomed 35 new direct members, 3 new consortium leads, and 2 new supporting members. As well, our DataCite consortia welcomed 131 new consortium organizations. And this enables organizations across the world to join DataCite and to benefit from localized, tailored support through their consortia. And as part of supporting our growing community, we have been working this year on scaling our infrastructure. This isn't always the most visible work, but it's really critical in enabling us to host metadata for millions of DOIs, and to continue to provide responsive, efficient services. And so on the technical side, we have improved our reindexing process this year. This makes it improves the accuracy, freshness, and utility of index data in the REST API. We also implemented several new measures that allow us to sustain system performance when we get periods of higher activity. On a similar note, we adjusted our rate limits for our non-authenticated and unidentified users, just to make it help us to improve communication and support system performance and stability across all API activities. All of this work continuing to nurture our infrastructure is ongoing with technical, social, and operational components that we will continue to prioritize in 2026 and beyond. And so part of what drove us to focus on the technical aspects of scaling this year was this unprecedented growth for us in DOI registrations. And so this chart shows the annual DOI registrations each year. And the cumulative total of DOIs is superimposed on that. And so you can see here that there's been rapid growth in recent years, particularly in the last 3. And that to date, the DataCite community has registered over 107 million DOIs as of today. Another theme of 2025 was supporting connections between DataCite DOIs and other persistent identifiers. One piece of work in this area was improving our integration with ORCID. And so there are 2 pieces of our ORCID integration. The first one is ORCID Auto Update, and this allows DataCite to automatically update your ORCID record. There's also the search and link functionality, which allows you to manually claim individual DOIs and add them to your ORCID record. And so with the improvements this year, we have made it easier to authenticate through DataCite Commons to enable each of these options. Your ORCID record will also now distinguish between the works that you added individually through Commons and those that were added using auto update based on DOI metadata. And I think my colleagues put a link in the chat where you can read more about those changes. Another important milestone we've reached is the release of 2 expansions to the data citation corpus. And so first in February, we added citations from the Aligning Science Against Parkinson's initiative. We added more robust organization information to the corpus dataset. And then for the next release in July, we added citations from Europe PMC and also included richer affiliation metadata. Both of these releases to the corpus, they will help to advance our work to facilitate insights on data usage and reach for institutions. Also on the theme of connecting persistent identifiers, this year we worked in collaboration with ZBMath, which is a major bibliographical database for mathematics. And this was in the context of our work with the FAIR Core for EOSC project. And so as a result of this collaboration, we have citations and other relationships from ZBMath metadata now in event data and DataCite Commons. And this establishes a new external source for DataCite DOI citation connections available across the DataCite services. And so switching gears here, another major focus for 2025 and one that will continue into 2026 is working in close collaboration with our metadata harvesters to facilitate discovery. And so one way we're doing this is by improving access to DataCite metadata. In January 2025, we released our second annual public data file, and this has metadata for the 72 million DOIs that were registered up through the very end of 2024. This release makes it easier to get started with metadata harvesting by providing a single data file that can be used to scale large-scale to seed large-scale harvesting efforts. In addition to improving access to metadata, we are committed to strengthening our relationships with harvesters. And so this year we launched the Harvesters Interest Group, and this is a space open to all of our community members who are interested in metadata harvesting. We also added a new list of harvesters to our website, which helps to showcase existing harvesters and to help DataCite members see how their metadata is being reused. One harvester relationship that is new in 2025 is the connection between DataCite and OpenAlex. And so in October, OpenAlex launched their integration with DataCite. And this means that over 98 million DataCite DOIs are discoverable in OpenAlex, both in their search interface and in their API. And this further improves the research connectivity and discovery of resources with DataCite DOIs. So in summary, it's been a full year of progress and collaboration, and we'd like to thank everyone who's been part of this journey with us. And now I'm going to hand things over to Cody to talk about what's coming up in the months ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Kelly. And thank you also to Julia and Pablo for those great presentations and for your sort of amazing, like globe spanning work. It's always exciting to see how our work intersects with those of our membership community. So yeah, now that we've had a review of 2025, we look ahead to early 2026. So I'm excited to share a slice of some key upcoming product activities at DataCite for early next year. Next slide, Kelly, if you could. Thanks. So first are a suite of tools and services and community activities that are designed to support DataCite metadata harvesters with reusing DataCite DOI metadata. To begin, sort of a few tools and service updates. As is tradition, and we're releasing an updated 2025 annual public data file early next year to support DataCite metadata ingestion workflows and community analysis, among other use cases. This will include metadata for every findable DataCite DOI. As Kelly mentioned, this is now over 100 million records. So yeah, we're excited to release this new version of the annual public data file. We're also planning the monthly data file snapshot service, which is a monthly extension of the annual public data file. And you can learn a little bit more about our thinking behind this at the link in the chat. We're also working on even more ways to improve API performance and reliability. And so we've planned some changes to the default API response as we scale the metadata store as one way to support this. So you can learn more about those changes at the link in the chat as well. So next, a couple of community updates. Those who have joined the Harvesters Interest Group and those who haven't, we're excited to convene the group again at a meeting on January 28th, as Mary mentioned earlier in the meeting. So feel free to register for the meeting, and we also encourage you to join the group where we share metadata harvesting updates, new features, opportunities for discussion and ways to share your harvesting ideas with the DataCite team. And finally, as Kelly also mentioned, we have a new metadata harvesters directory where we aggregate information about institutions and services that harvest DataCite metadata. So we have plans to expand this. And if you do harvest DataCite metadata and you'd like to be added to the directory, this is a really great way to keep the community up to date on your activities. All right. Next, we're excited to share more about a tool we've been developing to support DataCite repository managers and metadata curators with increasing the value of their metadata within the research ecosystem. So at the right here, you can see an early preview of the primary dashboard view, which we're excited to share, which displays an overview of metadata completeness for a repository along with guidance for valuable metadata improvements. Next slide, please. So we're planning to provide these metadata completeness dashboard views for repositories as well as members, consortiums, and consortium organizations. These will include up-to-date completeness metrics for every major schema property and impactful subproperties for DOIs associated with a given repository or organization, along with guidance on what improvements to focus on first. The interface will also include filtering tools to help identify patterns for particular resource types, registration years, and more. And we'll provide updates and feedback opportunities as we continue to develop this as we have already. And we're really excited about the possibilities here to elevate metadata quality and completeness in collaboration with the community. So next is metadata enrichments. Facilitating metadata enrichments was a really major theme and area of focus for us in 2025, and the momentum of that work continues into 2026. So as a quick overview of our goals for this project, we're exploring mechanisms and structures to support community curation and enrichment workflows in an effort to improve the quality and precision of DOI metadata by harnessing downstream metadata contributions from researchers, institutions, funders, and aggregators, ultimately to enhance research discovery, reuse, and reporting across the research ecosystem. The Collaborative Metadata Enrichment Task Force, or COMET, is a really key partner in this work. Our next milestones for enrichments integrate the great feedback we've received from the DataCite and COMET communities over the past few months. So in early 2026, we plan to finalize a revised data model for enrichments that's responsive to the community feedback we've received and create a pilot infrastructure for ingesting and distributing metadata enrichments specifically from COMET to start with. This has been a major community effort from the very beginning of the COMET project in late 2024, and we look forward to offering more opportunities for the community to contribute feedback as we continue development, as we have over the past few months. So next, a new DataCite schema version that supports the community in creating DOIs for a diverse set of research outputs and resources with an ongoing focus on core metadata for discovery and citation. So schema 4.7 will add 2 new resource type general values, poster and presentation, to expand coverage for these resource types and DOI use cases. Also to help connect DataCite DOI resources to RAID identified projects, as well as software identified with software hash identifiers. Related identifier type will add support for both RAIDs and SWH IDs. We're also adding a way to include additional relation type information when a relationship in a related identifier or a related item doesn't fit into the available controlled values. And so, yeah, looking forward to the next schema release and all that it enables. And then finally, to support reporting workflows for funders, we're working on features that will allow funders to find resources that they've funded and pull available impact metrics for those resources like citations, views, and downloads. To do this, we're planning a funded by filter facet for the REST API and DataCite Commons to filter by works funded by a ROR identified organization. The filter will also have an option to include works funded by internal institutes and other child organizations as well. This is all powered by the amazing WAR metadata that we have access to along with the rest of the global community. And we're excited to share more about these features soon as we continue development on them. So that's a slice of some activities we've planned for early 2026, and there's more to come on these and the many other product plans we have for the rest of the upcoming year. So next slide. Just want to make a brief plug for DataCite Suggestions, which is a discussion board where we welcome suggestions for features and enhancements to DataCite services and the DataCite metadata schema. Community suggestions help us make decisions about what to work on next, so we really appreciate all the feedback we've already received and all the feedback we encourage you to submit. We also use the space to post information and updates about work in process with opportunities for contributing. So many of the projects I just discussed are highlighted there. So yeah, feel free to take a look. You can also find product updates in our other communication channels like the DataCite newsletter, the DataCite roadmap page, the DataCite blog. And of course, if you'd prefer not to post on DataCite suggestions on GitHub, you can always send an email to us at support@datacite.org, and we can either post on your behalf or otherwise fold in your feedback. So yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to hand over to Maria now to close the session.
So on that note, I think we can bring the session to a close for today. Appreciate everyone joining. Want to wish everybody a very happy new year, and we look forward to coming back together in 2026.